Most men won't tell you this because they're afraid of the backlash. But here's the uncomfortable truth. A woman will never fully love you until you've shattered the image of the man she thinks she can control. That's right. She doesn't fall in love with the guy who says yes to everything. She doesn't lose sleep over the man who constantly seeks her approval. She loves deeply the man who dares to challenge her ego, the one who throws her emotional games back in her face and walks away like he never cared. Now, when I say break her, I don't mean hurt her or disrespect her. This isn't about cruelty. I'm talking about breaking her expectations, her assumptions, her manipulations. It's about breaking the illusion that she holds the power and showing her that you're not the one who's emotionally dependent. You see, modern dating has flipped the script. Too many men have been trained to be pleasers. They've been taught that love is earned through comfort, attention, and constant validation. But women, on a psychological level, are not wired to desire a man who acts like a servant. They crave a man who's solid, unshakable, and even a little dangerous, not violent, not toxic, but capable of walking away, capable of disciplining her behavior through distance and silence. When you break her illusions, what you're really doing is resetting the balance of power. You're reminding her that you are the prize, not her, and that forces her to choose you for real, not because you begged, not because you proved yourself, but because you stood firm in your value and refused to be conquered. This video isn't about playing games. It's about understanding the psychology of dominance, respect, and desire. It's about showing men how to stop chasing and start leading. Because until you learn how to break the emotional spell she tries to cast on you, you'll never experience the kind of love that's real, raw, and deeply feminine. Let's get into it. 1. Stop being her emotional punching bag. If you let her dump her emotional baggage on you every time she's upset, without consequences, you're not being strong. You're being used. Too many men confuse being supportive with being a dumping ground for a woman's mood swings, toxic behavior, and emotional manipulation. Here's the truth. If she can constantly vent, insult, cry, lash out, or blame you, and you just sit there taking it, she loses respect for you. She doesn't see you as stable, she sees you as soft. She sees you as a man who allows chaos. And deep down, women test men not to destroy them, but to see if you can emotionally lead. So, when you allow her to talk down to you, argue with no purpose, guilt trip you, or make everything your fault, you're training her to believe you're beneath her. And guess what? She can't love what she doesn't respect. Being strong doesn't mean being cruel. It means having emotional boundaries. You need to send a clear message. You don't get to unleash your worst self on me and still have access to my energy. That's not being cold. That's being a high-value man. And when you stop allowing it, something powerful happens. She stops seeing you as a boy who takes orders and starts seeing you as a man who demands peace, clarity, and mutual respect. 1. Example. Let's say she calls you late at night, angry and emotional. She's venting, blaming you, and clearly just looking to fight. Most guys would argue back, or worse, apologize for something they didn't even do. Here's what you do instead. You say calmly, "You're emotional right now? I don't entertain disrespect. Talk to me when you're calm." Then hang up. No yelling, no name calling, just calm, masculine control. She'll be stunned, angry at first, but then deeply intrigued, because you just broke the pattern. And that's what creates real attraction. You stop being her emotional punching bag and start becoming the man she can't shake from her mind. 2. Withdraw your attention. She's not special. Yet most men give women too much attention too soon. They treat her like she's the prize just because she's attractive or gave them a little bit of interest. Big mistake. Attention is currency. And the more you give it away freely, the less value it holds. If a woman knows she has your constant attention, your texts, calls, compliments, likes, validation, without earning it, She will start treating you like background noise. Here's the twist. The less available you are, the more obsessed she becomes. It's not about playing games. It's about showing her that your attention is earned, not handed out for free. Women don't fall in love with men who are always available. They fall in love with the man who makes them wonder, the man whose attention feels rare, unpredictable, and earned. You must teach her one thing early on. My attention is a privilege, not a right. Now, this doesn't mean being rude or ignoring her for no reason. It means not chasing her with double texts, not always initiating plans, not liking every single photo or replying instantly, and most importantly, pulling back when she's not investing. She needs to feel that your attention can disappear at any moment if she stops showing up as her best self. Because suddenly, she realizes something rare. Your attention isn't guaranteed, and that instantly makes you more attractive than 90% of men out there. 3. Punish disrespect with distance. Let's be real, every man watching this has experienced it. You're talking to a woman, things are going well, then suddenly she starts pushing boundaries. Maybe she talks down to you. Maybe she makes a sarcastic jab in front of others. Maybe she jokes about replacing you or compares you to other guys. And what do most men do? They laugh it off, brush it aside, or even try to win her approval back. Big mistake. Because every time you let disrespect slide, you teach her how low your standards really are. She learns that she can say whatever she wants, act out, play little power games, and you'll still be there, giving her time and energy like nothing happened. That doesn't build love. That builds dominance. Hers, not yours. If you want to be respected and desired, you must understand this. A woman's attraction is tied to how safe she feels under your leadership. But that safety depends on how firm your boundaries are. And when those boundaries are crossed, your response should never be to argue, yell, or explain yourself. It should be distance, silence, absence. When a woman crosses the line, she needs to feel the weight of losing your presence. Not forever, but long enough for her to understand. I don't reward bad behavior with attention. Distance speaks louder than any lecture ever could. It's the cold reminder that she doesn't own you, and that love must come with respect, or it doesn't come at all. Every time you walk away from disrespect without emotion or drama, you raise your value in her eyes. Let her feel what life is like without your presence, and watch how fast she changes her tune. 4. Don't comfort her tears. Challenge them. Let's stop lying to ourselves. Too many men have been programmed to believe that if a woman is crying, she's automatically right. You see her tears, and immediately, you fold. You apologize, you reassure, you try to fix her emotions, even when she's in the wrong. Bro, wake up. Tears are not always a cry for help. Sometimes they're a tool, a weapon, a test, and if you keep reacting with guilt, softness, and fear, you'll always be manipulated. This is where a lot of men mess up. You think being supportive means being emotionally submissive. But the truth is, if you're always trying to comfort her when she's wrong, she'll never grow to respect you. She'll see you as emotionally weak, not a man she needs to listen to, not a man she looks up to, just another guy she can break down with a little drama. And yes, this might sting, but it needs to. Because too many men are rewarding emotional outbursts. You're giving in to the crying, the guilt trips, the emotional breakdowns, and you're calling it love. No, that's called emotional slavery. Now don't get it twisted. This doesn't mean you ignore her pain or show no empathy. It means that when she cries during conflict, when she plays the victim after disrespecting you, or when she uses emotion to derail accountability, you don't fall for it. You stay grounded, calm, unmoved. You say, crying doesn't change the truth. We'll talk when you're ready to be honest. That's leadership. That's masculine control. That's how you stop enabling emotional chaos and start creating emotional maturity. Listen, real love isn't just about comforting her. It's about challenging her to grow. If you never challenge her emotions, she'll never respect yours. She'll keep using tears to get her way, and you'll keep losing pieces of your masculinity. So stop falling for the tears. Start standing on truth. Because the man who can look past the performance and hold the line anyway, that's the man she'll cry for when he walks away. 5. Stop explaining yourself. Be unapologetic. Here's something you need to understand immediately. Women don't fall for men who constantly explain themselves. They fall for men who move with certainty, even when they're misunderstood. Too many men talk themselves out of power. You say something bold, then backpedal. You make a decision, then justify it for 5 minutes. You draw a boundary, then soften it just to avoid her being upset. Why? Because deep down, you're afraid of not being liked. You want her approval more than you want her respect. But here's the truth, brother. A woman cannot respect a man who apologizes for being a man. If everything you say comes with disclaimers, softeners, or long-winded explanations, you're not leading. You're negotiating your masculinity. And that's exactly how you lose her attraction. Masculine energy doesn't ask for permission. It doesn't seek validation. It moves. It decides. It owns its presence without shrinking when someone doesn't like it. Women test this all the time. They'll question your opinions. They'll challenge your choices. They'll even act offended just to see if you'll back down. And the second you start over-explaining, she feels it. The weakness. The self-doubt. It tells her, this man is trying to win me, not lead me. Let me be clear. You don't need to be rude, but you do need to be firm. Say what you believe, and let it land. Don't explain. Don't justify. Don't water it down to keep the peace. If you believe something, stand on it. If you decide something, own it. If she doesn't like it, let her feel that tension. So from now on, cut the explanations. Be direct. Be grounded. Be a man who doesn't apologize for who he is. 6. Trigger her insecurity. Not with games, but with standards. Let's be honest. Women don't fall for the nice guy who accepts everything. They fall for the man who makes them question if they're good enough for him. Not because he plays mind games, but because his standards are so high, she has to elevate just to stay in his world. Here's what most guys don't realize. You don't have to be toxic to make a woman chase you. You just have to stop accepting the bare minimum. The reason she's not investing, the reason she's not respecting you, it's not because you're too nice. It's because you're too easy. You overlook laziness. You ignore bad behavior. You accept inconsistent energy just to keep the connection. That's not love. That's emotional weakness. A man with standards doesn't flinch when a woman tests him. He doesn't chase. He doesn't beg. He doesn't hand out validation to someone who hasn't earned it. And you know what happens next? She starts wondering, why isn't he trying harder? Am I enough for him? Is he seeing someone else? That's not insecurity you're causing through manipulation. It's the natural result of high-value behavior. Because when she feels that you're selective, when she knows that not every woman gets access to you, she works harder, she invests deeper, she brings her best, and that's when the dynamic flips. She's no longer the prize. You are. But this only works if you're actually living with standards. If you say you want a woman with class, but you entertain disrespect, your words mean nothing. If you say you want loyalty, but keep texting women who play games, you're not serious. So here's the truth. The moment you raise your standards, you raise your power. And the moment she senses that she might lose you if she doesn't level up, that's when she starts loving you the way you've always wanted. 7. Give her freedom, but stay dangerous. You want to know the kind of man women can't get out of their heads? The man who gives her full freedom, but still feels like a threat, not because he's controlling, but because she knows he doesn't need her to survive. This is the guy who says, do what you want, just know I won't chase you, and I'll never beg you to stay. That energy? It's magnetic. Here's why. Most men either get too controlling or too passive. They either try to trap her, always watching her moves, checking her phone, trying to keep her through control, Or they become doormats, letting her do whatever she wants, walking on eggshells, avoiding any conflict just to keep the peace. Both are weak. The high-value man, he does neither. He gives her full freedom, but he never stops being dangerous. Dangerous in what way? And let me be real here. You can't fake this. You either have the life, the focus, the purpose, and the discipline, or you don't. The man who's dangerous is the man who can love a woman fully, but never loses himself in the process. You give her freedom, yes. You let her roam, explore, and make her choices. But in the back of her mind, she knows. If she slips up, if she plays games, if she stops bringing value, you'll be gone. Without drama, without warning. And that's what keeps her in line. That's what keeps her invested. Because freedom, when combined with masculine power, is the most addictive experience a woman can feel. 8. Make her miss you by being unavailable tone. Strategic, straightforward, empowering. Here's a truth many men miss. If you're always there, she stops noticing you. She assumes you'll never leave. That certainty kills desire. When you're constantly available, answering every text, saying yes to every invite, she gets comfortable. Not in a good way. Comfort kills attraction. But if you start pulling back, being less reachable, less predictable, something shifts. She begins to wonder what you're doing, who you're with, why you're not responding right away. That uncertainty triggers her mind and her heart. This is how you make her miss you. You don't need to play childish games. Just live your life fully. Be busy. Have your own goals, friends, hobbies. When you show her you're a man with a full life, she realizes she's only a part of it, not the whole thing. That makes you more valuable. And when she values you more, she chases harder. 9. Use silence as a weapon, not a punishment tone. Calm, wise, and precise. Silence isn't about punishing her, it's about showing strength. Many men misuse silence to make her pay or show her what she lost. That's weakness disguised as power. True silence is calm. It's a pause that says, I'm not reacting to your drama because I'm in control. When she throws emotional chaos your way, silence lets you stay above the storm. It forces her to confront her own behavior, without you escalating the conflict. And remember, silence combined with your other behaviors, high standards, unapologetic confidence, freedom, makes you untouchable. She won't forget you. She'll crave the calm you bring. And that craving turns into respect. 10. Break her, then build her back stronger. This is the most controversial part, and the real truth most men won't admit. If you want a woman to truly love you, you have to break her first. Now, before you freak out, this isn't about abuse or cruelty. It's about challenging her emotionally and mentally in ways that shake her comfort zone. It's about tearing down her false beliefs and emotional walls so she can rebuild herself stronger, with you leading that process. Why? Because most women carry emotional armor from past relationships, insecurities, and societal programming. They protect themselves with walls made of doubt, fear, and control. If you never push her boundaries, if you never challenge her to face uncomfortable truths, she stays stuck in her old patterns. And no matter how much she might like you, she can't fully love or respect a man who doesn't shake her up. She'll settle for comfort, but she won't invest fully. And that transformation, it's where true love lives. If you're willing to lead her through this process, if you're willing to be the man who challenges and supports her, then she'll give you a kind of love that's rare and powerful. But if you're soft, afraid, or just trying to keep her happy, you'll never get there. So wake up, step up, be the man who dares to break the mold, because only then will she dare to love you with everything she's got. This is the edge where men become legends, and women become their greatest supporters. Here's the brutal truth no one will tell you. Women will never truly love a man who refuses to break them, emotionally, mentally, and sometimes even spiritually. If that scares you, that's exactly why you're stuck in the friend zone or in endless cycles of frustration. But if you're ready to step up, to be bold, and to lead, then your love life will never be the same again. I want to hear from you, your stories, your wins, your struggles. Drop a comment below about your experience with this breaking process or times when you tried to challenge a woman and what happened. I personally read every comment and will reach out to connect because this journey isn't just mine, it's ours. Are you ready to be the man she can't help but love?